Hi, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I am going to show you how to make a delicious meal for Valentine's Day. So in this video, I am going to be putting together a complete Valentine's Day meal. For us, my husband and I, our anniversary is actually on February 20th. So it's the week after Valentine's Day. So he usually does something for us for our anniversary. I usually do something for us for Valentine's Day. And I usually cook some kind of meal for him. And so I figured I would show you all how to cook a nice and complete meal for your Valentine or for yourself. So what we're gonna make today is we're gonna make some delicious chicken meatballs. We're gonna make some quinoa, a little veggie mixture to go with it, and a tzatziki sauce. So it's like real Mediterranean-esque. It's got some fresh veggies. It's healthy, it's delicious. It's a really great meal, and it's pretty simple to put together. Before we get into the video, hi, my name's Sarah, and I've been doing cooking in some form capacity for at least 10 years now, probably longer. And I'm very excited to share these recipes with you all. And if you like these videos, please be sure to subscribe. We love all of our subscribers dearly. And if you want to be notified when we upload, click the bell icon. Okay, let's get started. Beep. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to make is the little vegetable salad, and I've got these beautiful cherry tomatoes, and I'm just going to take these off the vine, and then I am going to quarter them. You can cut them any way you want. If you wanted to leave them whole, you could. I just chose to cut them up. So you could also just cut them in half. This part really doesn't matter. It's up to you. So this is part of the recipe that you can make ahead of time. So if you want to make this earlier in the day or even a day ahead of time, you can. You'll just want to keep it in the fridge. And this is also something that will go great with a lot of different things. So you could take this mixture and put it on a little toast, and it could make like a really nice bruschetta. You can do a lot of things with this tomato, cucumber, onion, kind of vinaigrette salad thing that we've got going on. And it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just like cutting these down the middle, turning them, and then cutting it down the middle again. And you want to make sure that for this that your knife is super sharp. It's really easy to accidentally cut yourself when your knife is dull. If your knife is dull, it's more likely to cut you than if your knife is sharp. So make sure your knife is sharp. Mine is getting dull, and I desperately need to sharpen it again. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of this, is just getting this fresh vegetable component ready. So that's why I recommend doing it ahead of time. This was a really great dinner, though. I was pretty impressed with myself that I made all of this. And it's a really nice, if this is something that you and your partner do, make a little meal for each other. This is a really good one. Or even if you're just making this dinner for yourself, it's really good and it's worth it. Okay, so now that we have all of the tomatoes cut up, we're going to cut up about half a cucumber. I am using one of those really long English cucumbers because the skin is pretty thin on these, and I'm slicing them pretty thin. You just want to make sure that they're even. If you're using like a regular cucumber, I would recommend removing some of the skin because the skin on those is a little bit more waxy. It's a little bit more difficult to eat. You could also use like tiny Persian cucumbers if you wanted to. Those would probably be good. I have heard that those have the best cucumber flavor. I'm not a cucumber connoisseur, so I really don't know. But I'm cutting up about half of this cucumber. And then we're going to save the other half for the tzatziki sauce that we're going to make. And I'm just cutting those up in little slices, and then I'm quartering them to make them a little bit smaller, a little bit more bite size. But again, how you cut this is kind of up to you. If you just wanted to leave them sliced in like little coins, you absolutely could. This is just what I chose to do. So this part is really up to you. And then we're going to take a red onion, and I am going to thinly slice about half of it to put in this mixture as well. So I quartered it, and then I halved it, and then I cut the halves into quarters, or cut the halves into halves. Peeled the skin, and I just slicing it as thinly as I possibly could. If you had a mandolin grater, or a mandolin slicer, that would be a really great use for one of those, because it would make really nice thin and even slices. But and again, thickness, how you cut this is up to you. If you wanted to just do like little half moons, you could. If you wanted to do a full on dice, you could. This part, it's really, really up to you. And also how much onion you add. If you don't like as much onion, you don't have to add as much onion. And that is the beauty of a recipe like this. Okay, so I'm just going to make like a little vinaigrette for this. I had some avocado oil, and I just did a little spray of that. I'm out of olive oil. I did some pepper, and I would recommend, if you can, fresh cracked pepper on this rather than like pepper that's like pre-ground, but it's not necessary. And then I did a little bit of red wine vinegar, and I'm just going to give that a toss. I did a little salt as well. I don't know if I said that, but you saw it on screen. And then I'm going to put this in the fridge. I made this earlier in the day, and you'll see the lighting gets worse as the video goes on. Okay, so now we're going to make the tzatziki sauce, and I'm going to take this cucumber, and I'm going to grate some of it. I'm only needing like about half to a third of a cup of this grated cucumber. If you want more cucumber taste in your sauce, you can add more cucumber. Or if you want less, you can add less. And I'm adding about a cup of plain Greek yogurt. You want to make sure that you get plain Greek yogurt. Don't get vanilla yogurt. Don't get flavored yogurt. It won't work. And then I am zesting a lemon, which is kind of hard to see because I did not stay in frame. I did zest of a whole lemon, and then I did juice of half a lemon. You could add more lemon juice if you wanted it more citrusy as well. I kind of wish that I had added the juice of a whole lemon, but this half was very juicy, and so I wanted to just do half. And then I'm going to cut up about 2 tablespoons of dill. I'm using fresh dill, and I would recommend fresh dill for this, but if you can only get dried dill will work just fine. I'm just giving that a good chop, making sure that there's like no big pieces. And I'm putting that in the bowl with the yogurt, and then this dill got everywhere. And then I minced a couple cloves of garlic, about 1 to 2 tablespoons worth, and I put that in the sauce as well. And then for the cucumber, you want to squeeze out any extra water and put that in the sauce. And you could squeeze this through a cheesecloth if you wanted to. I just used my hand, so that worked just fine. And you just want to give that a mix. And then here in a second, I'm going to add a little bit of salt because I realized I forgot to put some salt in this. You could also add some mint to this. I know that some people add mint to their sauce. I am not a big fan of mint, so I did not want to add any. But that is an option that you have. Okay, so for the chicken meatballs, we're going to do a package of ground chicken. We're going to do 1 egg. We're going to do 1 to 2 teaspoons of mustard, some breadcrumbs, and some Parmesan cheese. And for these meatballs, I'm making them by hand, but if you wanted to get some frozen meatballs, that would probably work just fine. I added some parsley, and I'm going to add some salt and pepper. So like if you found some chicken meatballs and they were in the freezer, that would work perfectly fine. I felt like it was easier to just make the meatballs myself. So, and I'm mixing all of that up, and then I'm going to use my little scooper, and I am going to scoop out the meatballs. And I just scooped them and then put them on the plate. I rolled them out so that they were circular before I put them in the pan, which you'll see in a minute, but I was just scooping at this point. I was trying to do this as quickly as possible, but 1, because I was hungry, and 2, because I wanted to see if this method was faster rather than scooping and then rolling, and I feel like it was. So I'm spraying a little bit of oil in my pan, and then each time I pick up a meatball, I'm just rolling it between my hands just a little bit to kind of make it circular. And for the meatballs, what I like to do, especially for any kind of chicken really, because I get paranoid about making sure that it's cooked all the way, is I cook it until it gets like a nice sear on the outside. Like you can see I'm turning these over and they're nice and brown. And then I put them in an oven safe container and I put them in, I had the oven preheating to about 400 degrees and I just put these in the oven until everything is done. And by that point, they're fully cooked through. They're nice and warm and delicious. Okay, so for the quinoa, I put in a cup of quinoa into my pot, and then I put in 2 cups of chicken stock, and I wasn't able to film this because I needed to film the meatballs. And so you want to put that on your stove, bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer for about 15 minutes or until all of the liquid is absorbed. And that's really it. It was so simple to cook this quinoa. Like it was super simple. So I'm just scooping, now I'm plating, I'm scooping some into a bowl. And then I am going to put the meatballs on top in just a second. And I wanted to put the meatballs on one side, and then I put my little salad on the other side. And then I drizzled the sauce on top. And then we'll get a live taste test from Richie to see his thoughts on the meal. And we drizzle the sauce on top. But that's it. If you want to see more, be sure to check out Loaves and Dishes. And thanks for watching. It's probably hot. Try a meatball. You didn't even get a bite of meatball. Okay. Is the sauce good?
Yeah.